waleta matamsanga. Yabo!
All day.
Yeah, visit is there. Okay. So it's only 5 programs. And then the main program, the children village.
Okay.
At the moment, they have an activity that involves the government directly. That is on advocacy on change in the country. Now these are youths. These are youth representatives sitting with this government official, discussing what change can we put for the society, to the society, for the community, and how to bring it up. So we are very much involved. Because without them, actually, without the community, we can't do anything. Can't spread our wings. Yeah. You're not, if you're not able to vote or have a right to say, you can only speak. And if you speak, the problem is who will listen? As long as you're mature enough to have an ideology and to speak out, what you're saying is worth sharing with the entire community, with the entire society. But I would consider that somehow an oppression, and they need to be given also a chance to air their views, to listen.
Bye. We'll talk.
Okay.
Bye.
We'll talk. Bye.
Okay.
See you next year.
Next year.
This is in one of the centers that we have when it was being officially opened. Same here. It's because they have embraced something about community, that we are all working together. That's not about you being the powerful one and us being the minority. We are all equal. And if we can all have shared responsibility, shared principles, then you can all have shared benefits. And so in Kenya, one of the things that we are trying to bring to our young people is not to really teach them what the colonists taught us or what the modern world would want to really lecture us to do. We are trying to teach young people some very simple steps that you are capable of achieving anything that you want to do, and that the way you can achieve it is, in the words of Martin Luther King, putting service, putting community, putting non-violence up front other than anything else. That's how we've been able to achieve.
Really?
It is.
It's Korean.
Straight on.
Thank you.
So we're from South Korea, and this is basically the bookstore. Humanist bookstore for youth.
And I'll speak briefly on some, and then also James will add in on some.
Right, okay.
Now, on the values that you've chosen good values for Africa, because Africa, there's a lot of community living, community life, and democracy is also a big part of what Africa needs to become. More of a democratic continent and more democracy in the states, like in Kenya, because democracy is something that we grapple with. And in our organization, we have a program on democracy and governance, which works with young people. We have programs in there that are focusing to help young people expand the democratic space in this country of health. They should be alive. And how will they be alive? They will be alive by actively engaging. And how do we do that? We create awareness. We inform the process, we train, we teach, and we bring up these young people so that they can be able to, when they stand up to speak, they will have something to say, rather than just be told, do this or do that, vote for this person, vote for this person, but they can be able to have that capacity within themselves to be able to to make that democratic decision and to be alive. You know, like a person who is alive, they do things for themselves. They go around and stuff. And when it comes to democracy, we are also hoping that the young people in Kenya, and not only in Kenya, but also in the region, will come up and be alive to be able to be a part of the democratic process.
And I wanted to write a story that could show those children how they could find a way, or a kind of a hope. Because some of them had no role models. There were no people in their lives that were good to follow. So where could they find a path to move forward? And only literature was my answer, could be that path. Yeah, only through literature. If there was no people to help them, what could reach in and pull them up? And it was only literature or books or poems that could do that. Yeah. So I could have given him a practical skill, but I gave him the skill to learn a poem. Yeah. It was more that I wanted to. The poem to me was lighting a fire. I wanted him to have a fire burn inside of him. Making bread would have been good. It would have kept him happy. But I wanted him to be on fire. And the poem is like setting a fire inside of him. Yeah. So the question is, yes, they're starving. Yes, they don't have a family. They're struggling. But if in the middle of that struggle there is one opportunity to hear a message, to hear some words that give you a hope or a story that says, I can find a better way through this, then I believe that is an important thing to aim for to help children see. So the paradox is we write for people who can't read what we're writing. How do we overcome that paradox? And we need a community to help change that. Definitely. I mean, I would agree with that. Again, I think that is where the power of literature and stories comes in, because it can ignite the people in the community to work towards helping those children to do something different. So a community needs its own fire as well. It needs its own stories and it needs its own poems to help it have a vision. It's about one person making a difference, but why would they want to? Because there's a bigger picture, there's a bigger story that they're being part of. To be working together. Thank you.
Welcome. Have my little one here.
Look, what is important is for us to make understand children from an early age that to be a citizen means to be listened to. And in South Africa, one of the biggest challenge we have is that the youth is not listened to, not heard, not listened to. They just have to obey, and they just have to choose subjects at school and, deliver during exam. So what's happened is that the approach of valued citizen is really to teach them citizenship in a way where it's project orientated. Yes, democracy is essential to make sure that people feel free enough to walk the talk relating to values of our Constitution, and to strive to make sure that these values of the Constitution are not part of a little book that is on a shelf, but are lived in the daily life. Right. Yeah.
하면은 내 목숨을 내놓고라도 1초 만에 달려갈 수 있는가? 당신에게는 그게 엘리펀트였지만 아니 뭐 동물들이지만 모든 인간에게는 사실 그게 패밀리일 수도 있고 뭐 러버일 수도 있고 어떤 그런 본질적인 가치들이 있을 것이다.
보셨어? And it's about your stories, about the elephants, about
That's amazing.
the Baghdad Zoo.
The
And
title, please.
the title is the listening to the voices of the voiceless.
Beautiful. That's
you.
beautiful.
And
This is amazing that you did this.
and
What can I want more? Such beautiful art and aesthetic and such creative. It's wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for coming so far. Good morning. How are you all? Are you good?
Or studies or book.
Yes.
Yeah. Which way could be the best way to learn the sensitivity
Right.
towards others?
I think it requires understanding. And it's a very simple understanding which has become lost to us. We have lost the understanding. We are not asking for new understanding. We are looking to regain an old understanding. Not many generations before, our ancestors were surrounded with nature, completely surrounded with nature. And they understood nature. They understood how to use it, how not to use too much, they understood the animals, they understood the plants, they understood the mountains. They had a deep understanding. And Western civilization has destroyed a lot of that understanding, a lot of it. Now we know that human beings have to learn everything. I'm just restating from last night to start. Human beings have to learn everything. A new baby has to learn everything. There is no instinct being carried forward. So there is no instinctive knowledge of our relationship to the environment and the plant and animal kingdoms. It has to be taught to that baby, to that child. And we are not doing that today. We are not doing it in our schools. We're not doing it in our universities. The places where you find a little bit of education, it's just too small. So what has happened is their divide has come. It has become us and them. Us, human beings, and there you have plants and animals, and there you have the environment. And we use them. What has been lost is the understanding of exchange. Exchange is a very, very important concept because we take everything from the environment, from the air that we breathe. The oxygen is coming from the trees. Everything that we use comes from the environment. Even a dirty coal mine is something from the environment, giving us jobs, giving us... The question is, what do we give back? You see? People have a natural understanding of exchange. The principle of exchange is inherent in every human being. We all understand exchange. We just take, we just use. So this is a fundamental truth that needs to be taught to young children who don't know and don't remember many generations before when our ancestors had a good relationship with the environment, because nobody taught them. It's a very simple thing. It's not a complicated answer, I believe.
Meet me in the middle of the day, let me hear you say everything's okay. Bring me southern kisses from the room. night, let me hear you say everything's alright. Let me smell the moon and your perfume. Oh, got some years where rise and fall, and there's always something more. Lost in talk, I waste my time, and it's always something further down behind the masquerade. I don't ask for all that much, I just want someone that cares. That's alright, babe. Meet me in the middle of the day, let me hear you say everything's okay. Come on out beneath the shining sun. Meet me in the middle of the night, let me hear you say everything's alright. Sneak on out beneath the stars around.